So U.S. Labor Secretary Marty Walsh is joining us right now. Mr. Secretary, we appreciate your time today. I want to start with the latest jobs report. The U.S. added 235,000 jobs in August. However, that is far less than the roughly 1 million jobs a month added in June and July. Why is there such a dramatic discrepancy in the jobs numbers this summer?
Well, I think there's a couple things going on here. One is if you look at this jobs report, a positive side of it, we added 203,000 in the private sector, which is a good number when you think about previous months. We also saw a growth in manufacturing, which is another good number. The area that we didn't see any growth at all was in hospitality and leisure and restaurants. In the last 3 months, those have been the biggest areas of gain that we've seen. So I think that the Delta variant has definitely had an impact on this report as we think about moving forward. In maybe the end of the summer a little bit as well. But certainly it tells us we still have work to do here before we get fully recovered from the COVID-19 pandemic.
And that leads me right into this. Employers, particularly in New Hampshire, in that service and hospitality industries, they've really been struggling to find workers and they've been forced to cut their hours. Why are there so many unfilled jobs?
I think, I get that question all the time. And I think two of the real big obstacles are one is the fear of COVID-19 and people still concerned about contracting COVID-19. Concerned about people who aren't refuse to get vaccinated and working with them and maybe going out. That's one of the reasons. I think the second reason I would say, and maybe not in this order, is the lack of childcare. And many parents have no place for their kids to go, particularly single mothers in the daytime. Where can they go when they go to work? School started last week. I think that the month of September, we could see some good growth here because parents will have school open for their kids to go to. The one concern that we all have is what's going to happen with the variant. Where will we be with the Delta variant? Where will we be with the numbers? And hopefully we can have the trend turned down. Now I know in New Hampshire and Massachusetts, the Delta variant it didn't have as big of an impact as say, Florida and other states, but still there's a concern out there.
Even still, a lot of people, they need to make a living. Are these people who just aren't planning to return to the economy, or do you expect them to come back?
No, I think a lot of people are going to come back. I'm not sure like how some people are surviving. I think I don't know if people are moving in with their parents or doubling up with families, but certainly we need to get Americans back to work here for our economy to continue to move forward. We've added 4.5 million jobs since President Biden has taken office. We've averaged 750,000 jobs the last 3 months. So we have seen good growth. And the thing that we're dealing with is a pandemic. There's no playbook. We don't, this is all day by day new to us as far as it's not a typical recession. And it's we have to continue to look and see how do we move our economy forward. There is some investments that the president wants to make in the CARES economy. There's some investments the president wants to make in the bipartisan infrastructure bill. Both Senator Shaheen and Hassan supported that bill, which is a good bill. It's a bill that's going to make major investment in roads and bridges and broadband access for rural America and clean drinking water. We still have too many people in this country drinking out of lead pipes. So there's a good investment bill heading towards the Senate right now, towards the Congress right now. So we do have to be focused on how do we continue to build our economy.
We've seen the concerns that the Delta variant is causing across the country. Are there concerns that the Delta variant or even other variants could cause further surges and derail the economic recovery?
Yeah, there's no question about it. I think that I wouldn't necessarily call today's job numbers a derailment, but certainly I think it was very impactful, the Delta variant, to the bottom line of today's jobs report. The president has been very clear on insisting and pushing people to be vaccinated. We're seeing in these areas where we have high vaccine rates, less number of cases of Delta variant, less cases of coronavirus, and the folks that are getting the virus that have been vaccinated, the illness of that is far less severe than people who are not vaccinated.
There's a critical shortage of nurses in New Hampshire and many other states. What is the administration's plan to help get more nurses and other healthcare workers into the pipeline?
I was in Arizona 2 weeks ago with the mayor of Phoenix, and I met with three CEO executives from the healthcare industry there, and they were talking about this exact issue of lack of nurses or shortage of nurses, and quite honestly, over the next 10 years, that shortage is going to be greater. I had a meeting today with my team here at the Department of Labor to talk about the infrastructure bill, the bipartisan infrastructure bill, and the CARES economy infrastructure bill, about the ability for us to create a training program to work with hospitals and nursing schools around the country to really close that gap. If we don't make a major investment in nursing in this country over the course of the next year and really prepare for the next 5 to 10 years, it'll be a healthcare crisis. And also in the mental health space, making sure that we're creating opportunities for counselors. So, we're going to be talking to Health and Human Services, and we're going to be talking across cabinet and through education as well to see how we create better pathways for nursing, mental health counselors, and alike here in the federal government.
And finally, Mr. Secretary, as we mark Labor Day weekend, what is the Biden administration predicting this fall and weekend, and what is the job outlook for the upcoming seasons?
Well, I think if you look at the last 3 months, the average job gain is 750,000. Today's number obviously is not what was projected, but neither was last month. Last month was under projected, but certainly President Biden's plan is to continue to move forward, steady, and continue to see good growth in our economy. The economy is strong in America. We need to continue to add to that strength. And the Biden administration, quite honestly, President Biden and myself, we just want to make sure that as we go into Labor Day, understand that America's strong. The president has a plan to build back better. The president has a plan to win the future, which means that he wants to get more manufacturing going on. He wants us to make sure that we continue to be the world leader when it comes to opportunities for people to be able to get jobs. And whether it's the tech world or the manufacturing world or what have you, he wants to continue to move forward. And I just personally want to just wish everyone in New Hampshire and everyone watching a very happy Labor Day. I want to do a special thank you to the essential worker, the first responder, the nurses, the doctors, and the hospital staff. These folks for the last 19 months have been working, in some cases around the clock, making sure that we're safe, we're healthy, we stay alive, and also keep us fed. So if you see a first responder or see a hospital worker or essential worker, make sure you just say thank you to them, because they've done everything they can to make sure that we continue to move forward.
On that note, Mr. Secretary, have a nice holiday weekend, and thank you very much for your time. We appreciate it.
Thank you. Happy Labor Day.
You as well.